Today, I am here to settle an age-old debate. No matter what is said, we still have arguments whether The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween film or a Christmas film. But I am going to settle this once and for all. Well, I'm going to provide evidence and weigh up which one I think it is and annoy 50% of the people watching, but I'm going to decide definitively, at least for me, whether The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween film or a Christmas film. Because honestly, after watching it for the first time, I was like, I have no idea. And I don't like having no idea. So now I'm going to apply the scientific method and try and work out which one it is. I've decided to look at 4 things when I decide whether The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween film or a Christmas film. I have already said Halloween and Christmas way too many times. Editor Daniel, could you please put a little counter at the bottom of the screen of how many times I say Halloween and how many times I say Christmas? I'm going to look at the genre. I'm going to look at what defines a Halloween film and a Christmas film and decide which one The Night Before Christmas fits into better. I'm going to look at the themes and the setting of the film. Do the themes fit a Halloween film or do the themes fit a Christmas film? The original release date can say a lot about a film because they tend to be released in junction to the holiday that they are meant to be celebrating. So was it released in October or was it released in December? And finally, what do our creative team say about it? What is their opinion on whether The Night Before Christmas is a Halloween film or a Christmas film? So what makes a film a Halloween film and what makes a Christmas film a Christmas film? Well, it's surprisingly easy to be classed as either one of them. Halloween, you just need to be vaguely spooky. You know, films like Hocus Pocus, literally any horror film can be enjoyed to enhance the Halloween season. But even then, a Christmas film tends to be 10 times easier to be classified as one. Of course, there's obvious Christmas films like The Santa Claus 2, and The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause. But there's also films that are seen as Christmassy just because they are set around Christmas, like Love Actually. And sometimes these need absolutely no physical attachment to Christmas whatsoever, like Home Alone and Die Hard. Films that you could literally set at Easter and nothing would really change. So this is where we start to see the problem with trying to define The Nightmare Before Christmas as either or, because it does technically fit into both of these categories. It has the spooky elements to make it a Halloween film, from all the characters being vampires and ghouls and ghosts, but then it also has the defining features of a Christmas film, literally being set at Christmas. But this is what I want to avoid. I don't want to say it's both. That would be lazy, that would be boring, that would be a cop-out. And on the Dan Talks Theatre Variety channel, we do not cop out. We go the full mile. So I guess I got a pick. You can very easily see it from both sides. But I feel like personally on this round, it goes to Halloween. If you look at the original poster, it does look a lot more Halloween-y than it does Christmassy. So I guess when we're looking at the overall genre, it does go a bit more to Halloween. But what about the themes and the settings? How much of the actual film is dedicated to Halloween and how much is dedicated to Christmas? Well, the film, again, does seem quite split on this, but there must be some sort of winner. The film is only an hour and 18 minutes long, and is set in Halloween Town for the majority of the runtime, and nearly all of the characters are members of Halloween Town except for Santa Claus. The film's whole stylization and, the whole design is based off Halloween. However, when we look at the film's themes, it does favour it being a Christmas film. The plot of the film is Halloween characters trying to be Christmassy. Christmas does dominate the themes and the plot of the film quite heavily. Because of that, I think this point goes to Christmas. Okay then, what about the release date? I thought this would be the easy one. I thought this could be a little, oh, by the way, it was released around Christmas, so, that infers it as being a Christmas film. But I seem to have forgotten that release dates for films across the globe are absolutely atrocious. From what I gathered from IMDb, The Nightmare Before Christmas had 2 main releases. It had the original release from 1993 to around 1995, 1996, but then had a re-release, mainly in 3D, from about 2005, 2006 to 2008. And these release dates offer different answers. It originally premiered at the New York Film Festival on October the 9th, 1993. It got a limited theatrical release on October the 20th, and then a wide theatrical release on October the 29th. So in the United States, it's definitely a Halloween film. However, then we look across the globe, and the results are extremely different. Japan, Poland, Argentina, and Brazil all agree and have their October release date. But then the UK, Greece, Sweden, Colombia, and many more had a November release date, which literally comes between Halloween and Christmas, so that doesn't help us at all. That's a Thanksgiving film. And it is not a Thanksgiving film. But then Italy, Germany, and Portugal, and more released it in December. So the original release dates are as mixed as all the other evidence. Until we look at the later releases. The re-releases. Here, the majority of the evidence actually points to it being a Halloween film, as only a handful were released in November and December, and there's also one in September, but we're not going to mention that one. So this now becomes a little bit more clear. This could be argued because Halloween comes first, but shut up. Shush. We aren't going to talk about that. Mainly because I do not have the evidence to show that all of these theatres played The Nightmare Before Christmas from October to December. So shush. Be quiet. But throughout this, I just want to mention the one outlier. The single outlier. New Zealand. The place where everyone wants to live at the moment because, you know, they got a great Prime Minister. But apparently didn't want to make any sort of decision on whether this was a Halloween or a Christmas film. So they decided to release it in May. May the 13th. Yes, The Nightmare Before Christmas. That famous film celebrating World Accounting Day. Yes, that's my favourite film. I love that one. But on screen right now, I have grouped together all of the films when they were released. And when we look at this overall, it does seem a bit more weighted towards October. Therefore, Halloween takes the point on this round. But the final point, the final thing, and probably the most important thing, what do our creative team think? I mean, they wrote the film, they made the music. What are their thoughts? It is so clear. I was expecting, you know, the vaguest answers. Nope, they were very clear. They have a preference. Danny Elfman, who wrote all the music for the film and played Jack's singing voice, said that it is about Christmas, but overall it is a Halloween film. And it looks like Henry Selick, the director, 100% agrees, saying that it is a Halloween film. And if you ask the people who made it, it is about the people of Halloween reacting to Christmas. And I have taken enough film studies classes to know that the director is the auteur of the film, according to the French New Wave, so therefore this point goes to Halloween. So that's all the evidence, and once we've weighed it up, it becomes very clear that it is a Halloween film. But I'll be honest with you, before I made this, I was 100% certain that it was a Halloween film. There was no argument in my mind. It was Halloween, live or die. If you even touch The Nightmare Before Christmas at Christmas, you get slaughtered. But now that I've kind of looked at the evidence and I've seen how thin the line is, I am much more in the middle. Personally, I would also see it as a Christmas film now. Maybe even more so than a Halloween film. Even though I have literally made an entire video about why it is a Halloween film. So what is it about it? Why is it so mixed? Well, it's because the line is so thin between the two. They did such a good job of this film linking the two holidays. Two holidays that just don't go together at all. And yet, they've done it perfectly here. From the songs, having like really simple rhyme schemes that remind you of Christmas songs, but having that kind of sinister undertone to all of them. All the imaginative characters and the stop motion animation that looks so creepy but interesting. To the way that they kind of use the Halloweeny items and make them a bit more Christmassy. It is a perfect mixture of the two holidays. So while the majority of the evidence does line up with it being Halloween-y, I do think that this film is just a perfect blend of everything. But either way, we now know that the real release date is May the 13th. If you are not watching The Nightmare Before Christmas on May the 13th, get out! Get out of here right now! Thank you, New Zealand. Very cool. But theatre is what? Subjective. What do you think The Nightmare Before Christmas is? Are you hardcore Christmas? Are you hardcore Halloween? Are you hardcore in the middle? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting subscribe. But that's it for me today, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye!